Ever wonder how someone who once lit up when they saw your name can go completely silent, like you never existed? No text. No call. Not even a passive scroll through your stories. It's like you vanished from her world without warning. And at first, your mind scrambles for answers. She's probably going through something. She just needs time. Space. Maybe she's figuring things out. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. If someone wants to talk to you, they will. No one is too busy to send one message. No one forgets someone they truly care about. So what does silence mean then? It means she's not confused. She's comfortable. She's not sitting in her room replaying memories. She's moving through her life like you're no longer part of it. That's the gut punch, isn't it? Because your heart wants to believe she misses you the way you miss her. That every quiet day is hard for her too. But more often than not, silence means she's not feeling the loss yet. Or worse, she doesn't feel it at all. She might not even realize what's missing because something else is filling that space. Could be another man. Could be the attention she's getting online. Could just be the distraction of noise and validation. But one thing is certain, it's not you. And when you're the one still checking your phone, still hoping for a sign, it eats at you. You start playing defense in your own mind, spinning hopeful lies just to cope. You want to believe there's still a door open. That maybe she's just afraid to knock first. But that's not silence. That's you trying to soften the blow. Silence, real silence, is her saying, I'm good without you. And that's brutal when you still love her. Because when you care deeply, you assume they must feel the same. But feelings fade. Attention shifts. And while you're stuck remembering the way she looked at you when it was good, she's already somewhere else, laughing, smiling, possibly in someone else's arms, and not once does your name come up. Let that sink in. Because most men break at this stage. They panic. They chase. They send the just checking in text. But chasing silence never brings you peace. It just confirms what she already believes, that she still has control. You want to win? Stop trying to be remembered and start becoming unforgettable. Let her silence ring out and echo into nothing. Because if you let it be, if you resist the urge to break the quiet, something unexpected happens. It's no longer about her comfort. It becomes your power. Her silence stops being a wall and turns into a mirror. Not for her but for you. And when you stop chasing answers from someone who's already moved on, you start finding clarity in yourself. That's when everything begins to shift. You see her out again. Smiling. Dancing. Maybe with someone new. And your stomach drops. Because it looks like she's already healed. Like she never even flinched. Meanwhile, you're just trying to make it through the day without checking her profile. It feels unfair. How can she move on so fast while you're still stuck in the wreckage? But here's what you need to understand. What looks like peace isn't always healing. Sometimes it's just escape. A distraction. Something to drown out the noise in her head so she doesn't have to feel anything real. That new guy. He's not the solution. He's the silence between thoughts. A placeholder. Pause. Not a fix. She didn't process the loss. She postponed it. At first, distractions feel like freedom. New attention. Fresh validation. It's exciting. It masks the emptiness. But it's not substance, it's noise. And noise always fades. The flirty text starts sounding the same. The compliments lose their edge. The thrill wears off. And eventually, she finds herself in the same quiet she tried to run from. But now there's no you in it. That's the moment reality shows up. When the high crashes. When the attention doesn't feel like affection. When she realizes that a new face can't recreate what you had. Because connection isn't copied, it's built. And faking happiness only lasts until the silence creeps back in. She can post 100 smiles and take 1,000 pictures. Doesn't mean she's okay. Doesn't mean she's better off. It just means she's trying to prove something, to herself more than anyone else. But pain doesn't care how well you dress it up. It doesn't care how loud the party is or how sweet the rebound seems. Pain waits. And when the lights dim and the phones go silent, it speaks. The truth always speaks when no one else is around. You might not see it happen. You might not get a front row seat to her collapse. But trust, it's coming. Because nothing buried stays hidden forever. And emotions ignored don't disappear. They build pressure. And one day something small, A memory, a song, a name, will crack the surface wide open. That's when the pretending stops. While she was busy chasing distractions, you were sitting with the pain. You felt it, faced it, learned from it. And that's why you come out stronger. Because you didn't run. You rebuilt. So don't envy her calm. It's not peace, it's a pause. And pauses end. When hers does, she'll be left with the truth she tried to outrun. And by then, you won't be the same man she walked away from. She chose distraction. You chose growth. And that's a difference time always reveals. She knows exactly what she's doing. The silence isn't random, it's calculated. She's not ignoring you by accident. She's watching, waiting, seeing how long it takes before you break. This isn't distance, it's a trap disguised as space. You used to be predictable. You always reached out first. You were the one who apologized even when it wasn't your fault. The one who smoothed things over just to keep her close. And she remembers that version of you. She's counting on him to show up again. That's why she's quiet. It's a test. Not of her feelings but of your patterns. She wants to see if you're still the same man who couldn't sit with uncertainty. If you'll fold the moment things get uncomfortable. If the silence makes you squirm enough to chase her all over again. Because if you do, she wins. She doesn't have to question her worth. She doesn't have to feel your absence. Your message becomes confirmation. You still orbit her. You're still hers, even without speaking. But the moment you don't reach out, when you don't take the bait, that's when something shifts. Now it's her turn to feel uncertain. Because this isn't how it used to go. You're not chasing. You're not explaining. You're not giving her the comfort of knowing she still has power. And that discomfort? It grows. It eats at her. Because if you're not reaching out, maybe you're actually moving on. Maybe you've changed. Maybe you've finally realized your worth. That's the part she didn't expect. She thought she had more time. Thought you'd always be there waiting. And when you're not, the silence she created becomes her own punishment. The strength she thought she had starts to feel like fear. Not of losing you, but of you no longer needing her. Most men fail this test. They break halfway. They send that just checking in message. They try to fix what wasn't theirs to repair. And every time they do, it resets the game. She feels powerful again. In control. Unbothered. But the man who doesn't flinch? The one who respects himself more than he needs her validation? He changes the entire script. Because now she's the one questioning. Wondering if she misread your loyalty. She pushed too far. If silence backfired. That's when she starts to spiral, not because you chased but because you didn't. Her silence was supposed to test your weakness. But instead it revealed your growth. And once that realization hits, it's not just her ego that takes the hit. It's her pride, her assumptions, her control. She set the trap. But you never stepped in. And that's when the game ends. Even if she's in someone else's arms, you're still in her head. She can block you, mute you, delete the pictures. None of that erases you. Because memories don't disappear on command. They linger. They replay. And when she's with him, she's comparing, whether she admits it or not. She's paying attention to the little things. The way he talks to her. The way he listens or doesn't. The tone of his voice when he's annoyed. How he handles conflict. How he makes her feel after a fight. And without even trying, she's measuring it all against what she had with you. She can lie to everyone else. Smile in every picture. Say, "I'm happy now," until her voice goes numb. But in her mind, you're the standard. And the more she tries to forget, the more she starts to realize what she's actually missing. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. Raw. Unfiltered. You weren't a performance. You didn't just tell her what she wanted to hear, you gave her truth. Even when it was hard. Even when it hurt. And deep down she knows the difference. You didn't love her for the version she showed the world. You loved the version she hid. The anxious one. The insecure one. The part of her that was afraid she wasn't enough. You saw all of that and stayed anyway. And now she's starting over with someone who doesn't know those parts yet. Someone who's still getting the surface. The curated version. The highlight reel. But surface-level attention never replaces deep connection. Eventually it starts to feel empty. That's when the comparison grows louder. It starts as a whisper, then becomes a question, then turns into regret. Because the new guy might check the boxes, but you checked her soul. And here's the thing, she doesn't need to tell anyone she's still thinking about you. She won't post it. She won't say it out loud. But her mind is a theater, and you're still playing in the background. Certain songs. Certain places. Certain moments that only you two shared. Those are yours. No one else gets access. You're not just a memory, you're a measuring stick. And the harder she tries to prove she's over it, the more obvious it becomes that she isn't. That's why you don't compete. You don't stalk his page. You don't ask mutual friends how she's doing. Because while he's trying to earn her attention in the present, you already left an imprint in the past. You don't chase because you're already part of her story. And stories don't get erased, they echo. Maybe not every day, maybe not every moment, but at the right time, in the right silence, your name will ring louder than his voice ever could. You were never replaced. You were only buried beneath distractions. And distractions always fade. At first it feels like she's fine. Unbothered. Light on her feet. She fills her days with noise, new people, loud laughs, constant motion. You watch it happen from a distance, wondering how she let go so easily. You're carrying the weight and she looks like she never picked any of it up. But stillness always finds its way in. Eventually the nights get quiet. The music doesn't hit the same. The crowd thins out. And when there's no one around to distract her, that's when your absence starts to echo. She won't expect it. It hits when the world slows down. Maybe she's laying in bed, scrolling through old photos. Maybe she hears your name in passing. Maybe someone brings you up and it twists something in her chest she thought was long gone. That feeling? That's not weakness. That's the beginning of reflection. She told herself she didn't need you. That walking away was the right call. That there was better out there. But time doesn't lie. And when the noise fades, truth starts whispering in the places silence lives. You're not reaching out. You're not waiting in her inbox. You're not leaving digital footprints behind. And that absence, it's loud. Louder than any words you could have said. Because you were constant. And now you're just gone. No drama. No scene. Just nothing. And that nothing hits harder than anything you could have done. Now she's scrolling through her phone, realizing your name isn't there anymore. No missed calls. No good morning texts. No you. The spot you used to fill is empty, and she feels it deeper than she expected. That's when the questions start. Not out loud, not to anyone else, but inside. Did I make a mistake? Was he really that easy to replace? Why hasn't he said anything? She'll think about reaching out. Maybe even draft the message. But her pride holds her back. So instead, she replays memories in her head over and over, hoping one makes her feel better. But it doesn't. Because time didn't erase you, it magnified what she lost. See, presence is easy to take for granted. Absence makes you pay attention. And while you were quiet, you were never forgotten. You were living in the gaps between her distractions. Waiting in the silence she tried to outrun. The more she sits with it, the more real it becomes. That's when she realizes, it's not about missing you, it's about realizing what she gave up. What she won't get back. And what no one else has matched since. That's the power of not forcing closure. Of not begging for clarity. Of letting silence speak for you. Because while she was filling her days with everything but you, your absence was slowly becoming the one thing she couldn't ignore. Even when she starts to feel it, really feel it, don't expect her to admit it. She won't call. She won't say she misses you. That's not how pride works. Pride doesn't confess. It delays. Pretends. It waits for you to move first so she doesn't have to. She could be sitting there with her heart pounding, staring at your name in her phone, thumbs hovering over the screen. But instead of pressing send, she locks it, flips it over, and convinces herself you should be the one to speak up. Because if you break the silence, she wins twice. She gets to keep her ego and prove you still care. She gets your attention without giving up her position. No risk, no vulnerability, just validation. And most men fall for that trap. They get tired of waiting. They send the late-night message. They cave to the pull of old memories. They hand her exactly what she wants, reassurance without responsibility. But the man who doesn't? The one who holds steady, stays grounded, and lets the silence stretch? That's the man who flips the script. Because now her pride starts to turn against her. What once felt like control starts to feel like a cage. She won't show it right away. She'll laugh louder, post more, make it look like she's thriving. But inside, she's wondering why you haven't cracked. Why you haven't taken the bait. Why you've gone quiet for real this time. And every day that passes without a text, her confidence chips just a little. Because silence is easy when you think they're still waiting. It gets real hard when you start to doubt they're coming back. She'll try to stay strong. She'll talk herself into believing you're doing the same thing she is, waiting it out, playing the game. But when she sees no movement, no signal, no breadcrumb from you, her mind starts running. Has he forgotten me? Is he seeing someone else? Did I push him too far? Those questions pile up. And she won't ask them out loud, but they echo when everything else is quiet. Her pride told her to hold the line. But now that line is starting to blur. Because eventually, even the strongest walls crack under the pressure of regret. It's not about losing you, it's about realizing she waited too long to say something. And when the silence finally weighs more than her pride, that's when she'll start looking for a way back in. Not with an apology. Not with honesty. But with subtle moves. Indirect attempts. Like here. Hey there. But it won't come from strength. It'll come from fear. Fear that you've really moved on. Fear that you're not just silent, you're done. And by the time she finds the courage to act, the version of you she remembers might not be there anymore. She thought you'd stay the same. That you'd sit in the same pain, hold on to the same habits, and freeze in the moment she walked away. She figured you'd wait, hoping she'd return, watching her life from the sidelines while yours stayed still. But that's not what happened. Instead of chasing, you changed. While she was out trying to feel something again, you were in the dark building something better. You didn't need a spotlight. You didn't post your progress. You didn't beg for attention. You just evolved. Quietly. Relentlessly. She imagined you stuck. Still texting. Still hoping. Still hurt. But time started revealing a different truth. You're sharper now. Stronger. More focused. That weight she left you with? You turned it into muscle. And one day, without warning, she saw it. Maybe it was a photo. Maybe it was a mutual friend's story. Maybe she just stumbled onto your page and paused. Because the man looking back wasn't the same one she left behind. You didn't just move forward, you became unrecognizable to the version of her that thought she outgrew you. That hits different. Because when someone walks away, they like to believe they were the best thing you had. It helps them sleep at night. It justifies the exit. So when they see you doing better without them, it breaks that illusion. It shakes her. Now she's not thinking about why she left. She's thinking about what she lost. Not the old you, the one she thought she had figured out, but this version. The one that no longer needs her. The one she no longer has access to. Growth doesn't just heal, it separates. It creates distance between who you were and who you became. And the further you get from that past, the harder it is for her to reach you again. She can't play the same games anymore. The same words won't land. The same bait won't hook you. Because you're not looking backward. You've seen what letting go can give you. And that's what burns. Not that you're gone. But that you're better. That your glow came after the goodbye. That your silence wasn't weakness, it was fuel. You don't need revenge when your progress speaks louder than anything she remembers. You don't need closure when the mirror reflects a man who outgrew the pain. She might smile through the screen, pretend nothing stings, act like she hasn't noticed. But she has. Every update, every move forward, every glimpse of your evolution reminds her. She left before the best part. And now that version of you, the one she never got to know, belongs to a future that doesn't include her. That's not a loss for you. That's her reality now. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise so high, even she couldn't reach you anymore. She expected you to flinch, to crack, to stumble into her silence with a text, a call, a like, something. But when you didn't, when you held your ground, something shifted. At first it felt like control. Now it feels like curiosity. She didn't think you'd last this long. She figured the silence would eat at you, make you restless, desperate, reckless. But you didn't move. You didn't give her the reaction she was banking on. And now it's her mind playing the guessing game. She's checking your page when no one's around, scrolling deeper than she should, looking for signs, subtle ones, that say you're still stuck. But the silence she thought was punishment? It's turned into mystery. And mystery pulls harder than any message ever could. You didn't leave breadcrumbs. You didn't create drama. You didn't explain your quiet. And that, right there, is what's driving her crazy. Because the unknown? It eats at pride. It gnaws at ego. It builds questions faster than answers can keep up. Is he thinking about me? Did he move on? Is someone else giving him what I couldn't? She won't ask anyone directly. That gives too much away. Instead, she'll drop hints, react to something, view your story, comment just vague enough to stay safe. Little feelers. Little tests. Not for connection but for control. But here's where most men ruin it. They respond. They get excited at the smallest sign of life. And the second they show it, the mystery dies. The power swings back. She feels validated and the game resets. But not you. You didn't bite. You didn't chase the breadcrumbs. You let them fall without flinching. And every time you do, her curiosity deepens. Because now it's not just, where did he go? It's, why isn't he reacting to me? Your silence became suspense. Your distance turned into presence. Not through words, but through absence. And absence, when done right, is magnetic. The longer you hold it, the louder it gets in her world. You've made her wonder in ways she didn't prepare for. You flipped the dynamic. She started the silence to feel powerful, but now it feels like pressure. She thought you'd be the one starving for her energy. Instead, she's craving yours. And the longer you stay still, the more power shifts. You're no longer the one waiting. You're the one being watched. Not out of love, out of not knowing. And not knowing is a storm. It builds. It overwhelms. That's the difference between attention and presence. Attention is loud. Presence is felt. And you, without even speaking, are being felt in places she never thought you'd reach again. Let her wonder. Let her drown in the questions. Because mystery isn't silence, it's strength wrapped in restraint. And right now, your silence says everything she's not ready to hear. Regret doesn't knock on the front door. It slips through cracks. It hides in the moments she doesn't see coming. A laugh that fades too fast. A memory that stings out of nowhere. A night that feels just a little too empty. It never introduces itself. It just shows up and stays quiet. She won't text, "I made a mistake." She won't say the words you waited for. That's not how regret works. It moves in the background. It speaks through hesitation in the way she looks at old photos, in the way your name lingers in her mind longer than it should. It starts with the small stuff. A post she wasn't supposed to see makes her stomach drop. A song she thought she forgot suddenly hits too hard. A friend brings up your name and she flinches, not because she's over you but because she never really was. And that's how it creeps in. Slowly. Quietly. Without warning. She'll test the waters before ever being honest. Maybe she throws a "hey" into your inbox. Maybe she likes a post from 3 weeks ago. Maybe she replies to a story with something neutral, hoping you'll read between the lines. But none of it says what she's really feeling. Because that would require ownership. And ownership hurts more than silence. So she dances around it. She circles your orbit, hoping you'll close the gap for her. Not because she's still proud, because she's still scared. Scared you've truly moved on. Scared you're no longer watching. Scared you no longer care. And here's where it gets real. Missing you fades, but regret lingers. Missing is a moment. It can be shaken off, distracted, pushed away. But regret? That shows up when nothing else is left to hold on to. When all the noise dies down. When the people are gone. When the mask slips. That's when the weight hits. She'll look at who you are now and wonder how she let it go. Not the version of you she remembers, but the one you became in the silence. The man who didn't chase. Who didn't beg. Who didn't break. And that's what cuts deepest. Because you're no longer the guy who was hurt. You're the man who healed. Who rose. Who didn't wait around for closure, but found his own without needing a word from her. She thought you'd always be there. That you'd fold eventually. That she could come back whenever she was ready. But now she's the one wondering if the door is even open. That's regret in its purest form, realizing too late that what you walked away from wasn't just love. It was rare. It was solid. And it's gone. So if she reaches out, don't expect a confession. Expect subtlety. Expect signs. Expect breadcrumbs. But know this, every small move is her silent scream. Because sometimes the loudest, "I'm sorry," is the one that never gets said, but never stops being felt. If this hit home, don't miss what's next. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the game.